Time mastery begins with a simple realization that time is not something you manage, but something you direct and command the same way. A skilled leader directs attention, skill, and energy toward meaningful progress. Successful people understand that time is not an unlimited resource, and, because of that, they treat every hour as intentional currency. They do not drift through days hoping for productivity. They build it with deliberate choices and powerful habits. And today you begin that same journey. You start by recognizing that everything in your life right now is the result of how you have been allocating your time. Your accomplishments, your skills, your relationships, and even your challenges have grown from the hours you invested or neglected. The truth is liberating because it means that from this moment, you can redirect the trajectory of your life by mastering the way you use each hour. The most successful people in the world operate from this mindset. They take full responsibility for their time and therefore full responsibility for their results. Time management is not about doing more, it is about doing what matters most. Every day, countless people exhaust themselves chasing tasks that feel urgent but contribute nothing to long-term success, and this cycle continues until they make a conscious decision to stop reacting and start leading their hours, leading their priorities, leading their direction. The first secret of time mastery is clarity, knowing exactly what moves your life forward and knowing what does not. Without clarity, time slips through your fingers like water. With clarity, time becomes a tool, a lever, a powerful multiplier. Clarity begins with identifying your priorities and not the priorities that come from external pressure, expectations, or noise, but the ones that come from your core values, your vision, your long-term direction. You cannot manage time without first defining where you are going. Successful people choose their days with purpose and design. They understand that every yes is also a no to something else. So they treat every decision with intention, and you are beginning to think the same way when you anchor your actions to a clear purpose. Every hour expands in value, every task becomes aligned, and every day becomes meaningful. Once you understand what matters most, you step into the second secret of time mastery. The power of focus. Focus is your ability to direct your attention to one thing that matters, instead of scattering yourself across countless interruptions. The world is filled with distractions, and every distraction drains your energy, divides your concentration, and steals your momentum. Successful people create environments and habits that protect their focus. They design their mornings intentionally. They eliminate temptations. They silence noise. They understand that multitasking is a myth, and that switching tasks weakens performance. Each time your mind jumps, you lose efficiency, clarity, and depth. But when you train yourself to focus deeply, you begin producing quality results in less time than most people produce with twice the effort. Focus grows stronger with boundaries. Boundaries define what you will tolerate and what you will eliminate, what you will give your energy to and what you will refuse. Boundaries protect your time from the demands of others, the noise of notifications, and the endless pull of small tasks that pretend to be important when they are not. High performers protect their time with the same seriousness as they protect their health, because they know that time once wasted cannot be recovered. Your boundaries are not walls, they are commitments. Commitments to excellence, commitments to progress, commitments to your future. The next secret is the mastery of planning, not traditional planning that leads to long lists and overwhelming pressure, but strategic planning that carves out intentional space for the work that creates impact. Successful people plan with a laser focus on the highest value activities. They understand that 1 hour spent on the right task can equal 10 hours spent reacting to everything around them. Strategic planning means identifying what matters most and engineering your schedule around it. It means putting your most valuable tasks at the beginning of the day, when your energy is strongest, your mind is clear, and your willpower is highest. Planning gives your day structure, and structure gives your day momentum. Momentum is another force. Successful people harness momentum, grows from the small wins you accumulate. The way you begin your morning influences the entire day. The way you end your day influences the next day. Momentum is emotional, it is psychological, it is physical. Once you gain it, you move faster, think sharper, and act with confidence. The mistake most people make is waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable and inconsistent, but momentum is built through action, especially the action you take when you do not feel ready. Successful people understand that action creates clarity, action creates confidence. You do not wait for the perfect moment, you create it by beginning. Time mastery also requires learning to say no and doing so without guilt, because every unnecessary yes destroys the space you need to work on what matters most. Successful people say no more often than they say yes. They know that their energy is finite, their focus is limited, and their goals deserve protection. Saying no is a skill, and like any skill, it grows stronger with practice. You say no not because you are cold or distant, but because you are committed to your vision, your growth, and your future. Saying no creates space for opportunity. Saying no creates space for rest. Saying no creates space for excellence. Rest is another essential component of time mastery because productivity does not grow from exhaustion. It grows from rhythm. Successful people do not work non-stop. They work with intensity and rest with intention. They understand that the brain performs best when it alternates between effort and recovery. Without deliberate rest, your focus weakens. Your decision-making declines, your creativity shrinks, and your progress slows. Rest is not laziness, rest is strategy. The most successful individuals prioritize recovery, sleep, and mental clarity because they know that a well-rested mind produces high-quality results in half the time. Another secret is the ability to identify your time leaks, the subtle habits that drain hours without offering value. Scrolling without purpose, reacting to messages, instantly checking notifications repeatedly. These habits seem small, but small leaks sink big ships. Successful people audit their days regularly. They observe where their time flows, they correct their course, and they design solutions that eliminate wasteful behaviors. Your time audit is the map that shows you where to reclaim lost hours and redirect them toward your growth. Every minute regained is a minute reinvested in your future success. Decision-making is another cornerstone of time mastery because indecision is one of the greatest time killers. Successful people make decisions quickly. Because they have clarity on their values and priorities, the longer you hesitate, the more energy you consume. Hesitation breeds doubt. Doubt leads to delay. Delay leads to stagnation. Decisive action, even if imperfect, is more powerful than endless analysis. Successful people choose take action, observe results, and refine their direction. Decisions move you forward, indecision traps you in place. Another key to mastering time is understanding that your mornings shape your life. Successful individuals build morning routines that align with their goals. They begin their day intentionally, not reactively. They avoid rushing into the chaos of messages and notifications. Instead, they use the first quiet minutes for clarity, reflection, movement, and planning. When you begin your day with direction, you set the tone for consistency, focus, and discipline. Your morning ritual is the foundation that stabilizes your entire day. Discipline is a fundamental time mastery pillar, and it is not a harsh trait. It is a gift. Discipline frees you from chaos. Discipline creates structure, and structure creates freedom. Successful people do not rely on motivation, they rely on discipline, because discipline carries you through the moments when motivation fades. Discipline is the bridge between intention and accomplishment. The more disciplined your habits become, the more effortless your productivity feels. Discipline is built through repetition, identity, and deliberate practice. The next secret is the concept of batching. Grouping similar tasks together reduces switching time and multiplies efficiency. Successful people batch emails, calls, creative tasks, administrative work, and deep work because each type of task uses different mental energy. Batching allows your mind to remain in the same cognitive mode for longer, increasing performance and eliminating distraction. When you group your tasks, your focus deepens, your speed increases, and your results improve. Another principle is understanding your personal energy peaks. Successful individuals study their own biology and realize that certain hours of the day offer more clarity, creativity, strength, or focus they do not waste those hours on trivial tasks. They protect them for their highest value work. When you align your tasks with your natural energy cycles, your productivity rises effortlessly and your work feels more natural and effective. Delegation is another powerful tool. Successful people do not do everything themselves, because doing everything destroys progress. Delegation is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strategic thinking. When you delegate effectively, you free your time to focus on what only you can do, the tasks that move your life, your business, and your goals forward. Delegation allows you to operate at your highest level. while empowering others to contribute and grow. Time mastery also involves reducing friction, simplifying your environment, your digital space, and your processes. Friction slows you down mentally. And emotionally successful people eliminate unnecessary steps, create efficient systems, and design their surroundings for clarity and focus. Every reduction in friction increases your speed, your consistency, and your freedom. Simplifying your life is one of the fastest ways to amplify your productivity. And finally, the most powerful secret successful people know is that time management is ultimately self-management. You do not control time, but you control your decisions, your discipline, your focus, your habits, and your direction. When you master yourself, you master your hours, your days, and your future. Your life becomes a reflection of your intentional actions, and time becomes your ally instead of your obstacle. This is the beginning of your transformation, the shift into deliberate living, purposeful progress, and focused achievement. The journey continues as you build deeper mastery and stronger habits. Each principle stacks, each habit compounds, and each day you become more aligned, more efficient, more confident, and more powerful. Your relationship with time deepens when you begin to understand the compounding effect of small, consistent actions. Successful people understand that small improvements performed steadily over days and weeks produce results that feel extraordinary over months and years. They do not chase dramatic bursts of effort, they invest in steady, deliberate progress. The world celebrates sudden breakthroughs, but breakthroughs are almost always the result of thousands of invisible repetitions done quietly with commitment, patience, and intention. Each small action you repeat becomes a brick in the foundation of your success, and the stability of that foundation determines how high your achievements can rise. When you embrace the compounding power of consistency, you stop waiting for inspiration and begin creating momentum through discipline. Consistent behavior is far more valuable than occasional intensity. Many people burn themselves out by attempting to overhaul their entire life in a single week, only to collapse back into old habits. Successful individuals understand that real transformation is not found in dramatic effort, but in daily alignment. They know that doing the right thing daily is more powerful than doing everything occasionally. Your consistency becomes a silent force, a quiet engine driving your progress forward. Another dimension of time mastery is learning to use deadlines strategically, not as sources of panic, but as tools of focus. Deadlines create urgency. Urgency sharpens decision-making, and sharp decision-making accelerates progress. Successful people set clear deadlines even for tasks that do not require them, because they know that work expands to fill the time allowed. When you give a task a boundary, you force your mind to act efficiently. You transform vague effort into directed energy, and you build a strong rhythm of execution that strengthens your productivity. Identity is a powerful force guiding your relationship with time. The way you see yourself determines the actions you take. If you see yourself as someone who is disorganized, you will behave in ways that reinforce disorganization. If you see yourself as someone who is disciplined, focused, and effective, your behavior will begin to match that identity. Successful people shape their identity intentionally. They call themselves productive. They assume the mindset of someone who respects their time, and because identity drives behavior, behavior reinforces identity until the transformation becomes permanent. Your relationship with time improves when your identity aligns with who you want to become. Another essential principle is learning to prioritize through the lens of impact rather than urgency. Many people fill their days with urgent tasks that have little significance simply because they demand immediate attention. Successful individuals resist this trap. They evaluate each task through the lens of long-term value. They ask themselves which actions will matter next week, next month, next year, and they allocate their hours accordingly. When you focus on impact instead of urgency, you direct your life toward meaningful progress instead of temporary relief, and you feel the profound satisfaction of aligning your work with your purpose. Purpose fuels discipline, and discipline protects purpose. When you know why you are doing something, you find the strength to stay consistent even when motivation fades. A strong purpose creates resilience. Resilience creates progress, and progress builds confidence. Successful people revisit their purpose often. They remind themselves of the life they are building, the goals they are pursuing, and the impact they want to have. This constant reconnection with purpose keeps their time aligned, their energy focused, and their decisions strong. A crucial time mastery skill is protecting your mental bandwidth. Your brain has a limited capacity for high-level thinking, and each unnecessary distraction consumes precious cognitive resources. Successful people protect their mental energy by reducing complexity, minimizing noise, and simplifying routines. They declutter both their physical and digital environments because chaos creates friction, and friction wastes time. When you remove unnecessary decisions and distractions, your mental clarity increases, your stress decreases, and your focus deepens, allowing you to produce more in less time with less effort. Another powerful concept is creating systems. Systems are repeatable structures that allow you to produce consistent results without relying on constant willpower. Successful individuals build systems for planning, goal setting, communication, organization, and decision-making. Systems remove mental load because when the process is clear, your brain can focus on execution instead of constantly reinventing the workflow. Systems create stability, predictability, and efficiency, and they transform productivity from an active effort into an act of navigation. Your relationship with time also improves when you understand how to reduce procrastination. Procrastination is not a sign of laziness. It is a signal that something in your approach needs adjustment. Sometimes the task feels too large. Sometimes fear of imperfection holds you back. Sometimes a lack of clarity keeps you stuck. Successful individuals address procrastination by shrinking the task into smaller steps, clarifying the outcome, and removing emotional pressure. They take action before they feel ready, because action creates readiness. They do not wait for the right mood. They create momentum through movement. And once movement begins, progress accelerates rapidly. The ability to start quickly is one of the most valuable time mastery habits. Successful people begin tasks sooner than others. They avoid overthinking because they know that thinking without action leads to stagnation. They break tasks into smaller steps. They take the first step without delay, and once the first step is taken, the brain shifts into motion. Your ability to start is more important than your ability to finish because the start creates the conditions for the finish. Time mastery also involves mastering your environment. Successful individuals design spaces that support their goals instead of sabotage them. They organize their desks, simplify their tools, and create spaces that pull them toward focus and away from distraction. Your environment influences your performance more than motivation ever will. When your surroundings support your intentions, productivity becomes a natural byproduct of design. Another important principle is the value of reviewing your day. Successful people end their day with reflection. They ask themselves what worked, what needs improvement, and what can be adjusted for tomorrow. This daily review strengthens awareness, and awareness strengthens improvement. By consistently examining your progress, you create a feedback loop that accelerates mastery. Your days become intentional, your habits become stronger, and your time becomes aligned with your highest priorities. High performers also understand the importance of weekly reviews. While daily reflection refines small details, weekly reflection shifts perspective. It helps you identify patterns, measure progress, correct direction, and celebrate wins. Without weekly review, life becomes reactive, but with consistent review, life becomes strategic. You gain clarity, you correct mistakes quickly, and you maintain momentum with confidence. Weekly reviews are the steering wheel of time mastery. Accountability is another strategic tool used by successful individuals. Accountability multiplies consistency because it creates structure and expectation. When others know your goals, your likelihood of follow-through increases. But accountability is not only external. It also comes from the identity you hold, the promises you make to yourself, and the standards you set. Successful people practice self-accountability. They hold themselves to the level of discipline that moves their life forward, and they do so with commitment, not pressure. A powerful mindset shift in time mastery is understanding that busyness is not productivity. Many people confuse activity with achievement. They fill their hours with motion without creating meaningful progress. Successful people eliminate unnecessary motion and focus on high-leverage tasks. They measure their days not by the number of tasks completed, but by the importance of the tasks they completed. When you stop celebrating busyness, you begin celebrating progress, and your relationship with time transforms completely. Another key concept is knowing your highest value work. Your highest value work is the set of actions that generate the greatest results in your life. Or career successful individuals focus the majority of their time on high-value work because they understand that no amount of low-value tasks can produce meaningful outcomes. Identifying your highest value activities gives your day direction and gives your time purpose. When you commit to performing high-value work consistently, your results compound rapidly and your success accelerates. Your ability to control interruptions plays a significant role in time mastery. Interruptions steal focus, break concentration, and extend task completion time far more than most people realize. Successful people design their communication rules intentionally. They batch messages, mute notifications, and communicate strategically rather than reactively. When you take control of your interruptions, you take control of your day. And when you take control of your day, you take control of your future. The mastery of speed versus quality is another important lesson. Successful people know when to work slowly and carefully and when to work quickly with efficiency. Not every task requires perfection, and not every task deserves the same level of investment. By allocating your energy wisely, you avoid burnout, increase output, and maintain the quality of the work that truly matters. Time mastery requires a clear understanding of your personal rhythms because your energy is not constant throughout the day. Successful people design their schedules around their natural rhythms instead of fighting them. They know the hours when their mind is sharpest, the periods when creativity flows, and the times when they need rest. Instead of forcing productivity at low-energy moments, they structure deep work during peak energy and reserve simpler tasks for lower energy times. This alignment with natural rhythm elevates output, increases satisfaction, and reduces internal resistance. When you honor your rhythms, you stop comparing yourself to others. You recognize that productivity is personal and that effective time management is not about squeezing more tasks into every hour, but about using your best hours for your best work. This shift liberates you from unrealistic expectations and allows you to create a workflow that supports your strengths instead of draining them. Another essential principle is understanding the power of saying no. The ability to decline low-value commitments is one of the strongest time-protecting habits. Successful people are not afraid to say no, because they understand that every yes consumes time, energy, and focus. They measure every request through the lens of their priorities and only commit when a task aligns with their goals. When you say no to what does not matter, you create space for what does, and that space becomes the foundation of meaningful progress. Learning to say no gracefully is an art. You do not need to provide lengthy explanations or guilt-filled apologies. A simple, clear expression of your limits is enough. Saying no builds boundaries, and boundaries protect your focus, your energy, and your long-term vision. A related mastery skill is learning to manage expectations. Successful individuals communicate clearly with others about timelines, capacity, and priorities. They set realistic deadlines and clarify what is possible within a given time frame. When expectations are clear, stress decreases, communication becomes smooth, and work flows more efficiently. Managing expectations is not a sign of weakness or inability. It is a sign of maturity, professionalism, and respect for the time of everyone involved. Time mastery also requires learning the difference between planning and preparing. Planning is deciding what to do. Preparation is setting up everything needed to ensure the plan succeeds. Many people plan extensively, but prepare very little. Successful individuals do both. They outline their steps and then ensure they have the tools, environment, and resources aligned to support the execution. Strong preparation reduces friction, accelerates progress, and eliminates unnecessary delays. Another time mastery skill is the ability to recover quickly from setbacks. Successful people do not expect their schedules to unfold perfectly. They anticipate challenges, obstacles, and interruptions, and they design strategies for getting back on track quickly. When plans fall apart, they adapt without frustration because they understand that flexibility is a form of strength. Time management is not rigid control, but agile navigation. The faster you recover, the more consistent your long-term momentum becomes. Your relationship with time strengthens when you practice proactive thinking. Proactive thinkers anticipate needs, identify future problems, and prepare solutions in advance. Reactive thinkers wait for problems to occur before responding and lose valuable time in the process. Successful individuals develop habits of anticipation. They prepare contingencies, they identify risks, and they build buffers into their schedules so unexpected challenges do not derail their progress. Proactive thinking creates stability, reduces stress, and improves the quality of your decisions. Another key lesson is the mastery of prioritizing through elimination. Successful people remove tasks that do not matter instead of trying to manage them. They understand that the quickest way to increase productivity is often to reduce unnecessary commitments. They simplify their workflows, streamline routines, automate recurring tasks, and delegate responsibilities that someone else can do. When you eliminate the unnecessary, you amplify the essential, and your time expands, because it is no longer consumed by low-impact activities. Delegation is one of the most powerful yet underused time management skills. Many people struggle to delegate because they believe no one can complete the work exactly as they would. Successful individuals understand that perfection is not the goal. Leverage is the goal. By trusting others to handle tasks that do not require their direct involvement, they free up time for high-value work. Delegation increases your impact, multiplies your output, and strengthens your leadership. Another foundational concept is learning to substitute habits instead of trying to eliminate bad habits. Outright successful people replace them with better actions. They swap unproductive routines with productive ones because the mind works more smoothly through substitution than through removal. When you replace instead of resist, you create sustainable transformation and you experience far less internal struggle. Time mastery is also strengthened by learning the art of constraint. Constraint is the practice of deliberately limiting your options, so decision-making becomes easier. When you reduce the choices available, your mind becomes clearer, and your actions become more decisive. Many successful individuals wear similar outfits, eat similar breakfasts, or maintain consistent routines, not because they lack creativity, but because they understand that reducing trivial decisions frees mental bandwidth for their highest value work. Constraints simplifies your life and empowers your focus. A powerful yet simple habit is preparing tomorrow. Today's successful people end their day by reviewing upcoming commitments, organizing what they need for the next morning, and clarifying their most important tasks. This nightly preparation creates a sense of calm and control. It eliminates morning confusion, reduces stress, and allows you to start your day already aligned with your priorities. When you know exactly what needs to be done, you begin your morning with confidence and purpose rather than hesitation. Time mastery also involves the ability to perform deep work. Deep work is the uninterrupted state of focus where your mind reaches full cognitive capacity, producing high-quality results in less time. Successful individuals protect deep work fiercely. They eliminate distractions, set boundaries, and structure their environment to support focus. Deep work creates breakthroughs, accelerates skill development, and produces the kind of progress that transforms your future. The deeper your work, the greater your results. Alongside deep work, there is an equally important concept called shallow work. Shallow work involves the administrative and logistical tasks that support your life: emails, errands, scheduling, organization, and maintenance. While they are necessary, they do not create large long-term impact. Successful people manage shallow work intentionally by batching it into designated time windows, preventing it from fragmenting their day. This structure preserves mental energy for the work that matters most. Another principle effective individuals practice is creating a stopping rule. A stopping rule is a boundary that prevents you from working endlessly without structure. Many people overwork because they lack a clear signal that tells them when the task is complete. Successful people define what finished looks like before starting. They identify their parameters, decide the outcome, and once reached, they stop. This prevents burnout, maintains quality, and preserves time for rest, recovery, and personal life. Recovery is a critical component of time mastery, because productivity without rest leads to exhaustion, and exhaustion leads to failure. Successful individuals prioritize sleep breaks and downtime because they understand that rest is not the opposite of productivity, but the foundation of it. When your mind is restored, your creativity strengthens, your focus sharpens, and your decision quality improves. Rest sustains your long-term performance and protects your health. Your relationship with time begins to transform when you start seeing each day as a series of intentional choices rather than a chain of automatic reactions. Successful people understand that time is not something to manage, but something to direct, and direction comes from clarity. The clearer your vision, the easier your decisions become. Clarity removes hesitation, reduces wasted motion, and turns Confusion into confident action. When you know where you are going, you stop drifting, you start designing. Every hour becomes a building block in the architecture of your future. A powerful practice in time mastery is the ability to focus on one thing at a time. The human mind is designed for attention, not fragmentation, yet many people attempt to multitask. Believing it makes them more productive, successful individuals know that multitasking weakens performance, scatters focus, and lowers accuracy. Instead, they practice single tasking. They give their full attention to one activity and complete it with precision before transitioning to the next. This creates a rhythm that feels clean, efficient, and mentally steady. Your mind works best when it works on one thing with full presence. Presence is the secret ingredient behind high-level performance. When you bring full awareness to the task in front of you, time feels richer and work feels smoother. Presence creates immersion. Immersion accelerates progress, and progress creates momentum. Successful individuals cultivate presence by removing distractions, closing loops, and giving themselves permission to focus fully without interruption. When you allow your mind to be here, rather than pulled in every direction, you perform at your highest potential. Another aspect of time mastery is the ability to make decisions quickly. Many people lose large amounts of time in hesitation, overthinking, and doubt. Successful individuals streamline decision-making through principles rather than emotions. They set personal rules, such as deciding within a defined time limit or choosing the option that aligns with their long-term goals rather than short-term comfort. Swift decision-making removes cognitive load, frees mental energy, and keeps the day moving forward with confidence. Your ability to prioritize improves dramatically when you understand the difference between important and meaningful. Important tasks move your goals forward. Meaningful tasks elevate your future. Meaningful tasks change your life. Successful people design their schedules around meaningful work because meaningful work creates long-term transformation, while important tasks create short-term progress. When your day blends both strategically, you build a life that is productive and purposeful. Time mastery also requires learning to trust your schedule. Many individuals create schedules they rarely follow, either because they do not trust themselves to stay consistent, or they fill their calendar with unrealistic expectations. Successful people create schedules they know they can honor. They design realistic timelines, they build buffers into their day, they schedule based on energy and complexity, and because their plans are grounded with intention rather than fantasy, they follow through with discipline. Consistency builds confidence, and confidence strengthens consistency. Another essential component is mental decluttering. Your mind carries thousands of micro-thoughts, micro-decisions, and unfinished loops. Each of these takes space and steals energy. Successful individuals regularly clear mental clutter by writing thoughts down, capturing ideas in external systems, and organizing them into a structure they trust. When your mind does not have to remember everything, it becomes free to focus on what matters. Clarity increases, stress decreases, and thinking becomes sharper and more effective. Time mastery also involves learning the art of proactive communication. Instead of waiting for misunderstandings, delays, or uncertainties, successful people communicate early, clearly, and with intention. They clarify expectations before problems arise, they provide updates before questions are asked, and they address concerns before tension develops. This proactive approach prevents wasted time, reduces conflict, and builds stronger relationships built on trust and understanding. Your relationship with time strengthens further when you begin protecting your mornings. Your morning sets the tone for the entire day. Successful individuals avoid starting their day in reactive mode. They do not open messages immediately or jump into the demands of others. They begin their mornings with intention, clarity, and focus. They move their body plan, their priorities, and create a calm mental foundation. When you own your morning, you direct your day instead of being pulled by it. Another powerful habit is learning to treat time as investment rather than cost. Unsuccessful people view time spent learning, resting, or planning as a loss. Successful people view it as an asset. Every hour invested in skills improves future performance. Every hour invested in health increases long-term longevity. Every hour invested in rest improves cognitive capacity. Every hour invested in meaningful relationships builds a support system that strengthens your life. When you treat your time like wealth, you allocate it wisely. The ability to zoom out is another essential time mastery skill. Many individuals get lost in the details of their day, without realizing that their actions may not align with their long-term goals. Successful people zoom out regularly. They examine their progress from a higher altitude. They ask if their current direction supports their ultimate vision or if adjustments are needed. This big picture perspective keeps them aligned and prevents wasted effort on paths that do not lead to meaningful outcomes. Time mastery also requires emotional regulation. Emotions influence perception, and perception influences time. When you are overwhelmed, time feels scarce. When you are calm, time feels manageable. Successful people anchor themselves. Emotionally, they breathe, they pause, they regulate their reactions so that their decisions remain steady rather than impulsive. Emotional clarity creates time clarity, and time clarity creates life clarity. Another essential habit is the reduction of digital noise. Technology is powerful, but it can easily take control of your time. Successful individuals manage their digital environment intentionally. They organize files, simplify their devices, and create boundaries with notifications to prevent constant interruption. Digital clutter creates mental clutter. Digital focus creates mental focus. When your digital space is clean, your mind feels lighter and your work flows more naturally. Time mastery is also strengthened by embracing the concept of iterative improvement instead of trying to create perfect systems all at once. Successful individuals refine their processes week by week. Each small improvement compounds into major transformation over time. When you adopt a mindset of iterative improvement, you remove pressure from yourself because progress becomes the goal rather than perfection. An often overlooked element of time mastery is learning to work with momentum. Momentum is the force that makes work easier once it has begun. Successful people understand how to generate and protect momentum. They start before they feel ready. They maintain forward movement with small, consistent steps, and they avoid long periods of inactivity, which cause momentum to dissipate. Momentum amplifies motivation, motivation amplifies action, and action amplifies results. Your productivity expands when you learn to minimize context switching. Context switching is the mental cost of jumping between unrelated tasks. It drains focus, lengthens completion time, and reduces accuracy. Successful individuals cluster similar tasks together. They group creative work with creative work, administrative work with administrative work, and strategic thinking with strategic thinking with strategic thinking. By maintaining consistency of mental mode, their mind stays sharp and their output increases significantly. Another time mastery skill is the ability to protect your focus from internal distraction. Just as external noise disrupts your attention, internal chatter can fragment your thinking. Successful individuals develop practices that calm their mind, whether through journaling, structured planning, meditation, or intentional breathing. These rituals reduce mental noise and prepare the mind for deep focus. Your most productive hours come from a quiet mind working in a quiet space. One of the most powerful principles is learning the difference between urgency and importance. Urgency shouts for attention. Importance shapes your future. Urgency pressures you. Importance elevates you. Successful individuals treat urgency with structure, but treat importance with reverence. They give their best energy to what shapes their future rather than what simply demands immediate response, and as a result, their life grows in the direction of their choices. Your mastery of time becomes stronger when you learn to create intentional friction around habits you want to reduce and remove friction around habits you want to strengthen. Successful people do not rely on willpower alone. They design their environment so that the habits they need are easy, and the habits they want to avoid are difficult. If you want to read more, keep a book within reach. If you want to use your phone less, place it across the room. If you want to exercise regularly, lay out your clothes the night before. Friction shapes behavior, and behavior shapes your relationship with time. Another essential concept is understanding that time management is energy management. Your ability to use time effectively depends on your mental, physical, and emotional energy levels. Successful people protect their energy through sleep, hydration, movement, nutrition, and periods of mental reset. When your energy is high, tasks feel easier, decisions come faster, and focus feels natural. When your energy is low, everything takes longer. You procrastinate more, and you experience greater frustration. By learning to manage energy, you optimize the way you move through time. Your sense of time expands when you adopt the mindset of ownership. Ownership means recognizing that you have the ability to choose where your time goes rather than feeling controlled by circumstances. Successful individuals take responsibility for their schedules. They do not blame others for interruptions or obligations. They design solutions. They set boundaries. They plan ahead. Ownership transforms time from something that happens to you into something you direct with purpose and intention. A powerful time mastery skill is the ability to close open loops. Open loops are unfinished tasks, unresolved decisions, unanswered messages, or lingering responsibilities. They occupy mental space and create hidden stress. Successful people close loops quickly. They resolve questions, they finish tasks, they clarify decisions, they avoid letting small responsibilities accumulate into overwhelming mental weight. When you close loops, your mind feels lighter, your focus strengthens, and your productivity increases. Your productivity also grows when you begin identifying the hidden drains in your life. These are activities that consume time without offering meaningful value, such as mindless browsing, unnecessary meetings, repetitive decisions, or social obligations that no longer serve your priorities. Successful individuals continuously evaluate where their time is being wasted and remove or redesign those drains. Eliminating even one major time drain can create hours of mental and emotional freedom every week. Time mastery includes the ability to work with clarity of intention before beginning any task. Successful people define their purpose. What is the outcome they want? What is the standard they expect? What is the time frame they will commit? Without clarity, tasks feel heavier because the mind does not know what success looks like. Intention creates direction, direction creates confidence, and confidence accelerates progress. Another important principle is understanding that constraints create creativity. When you limit the time available for a task, your mind becomes more inventive, more resourceful, and more focused. Successful individuals often use time constraints. Intentionally, they set timers, challenge themselves to complete tasks within short windows, and embrace the pressure as a tool for innovation. Constraint is not restriction. It is focus applied strategically to unlock higher performance. Your relationship with time deepens when you begin seeing progress not as a single dramatic event, but as a series of accumulated steps. Successful people celebrate small wins. They acknowledge the daily victories that are easy to overlook because they understand that these moments create the momentum needed for larger breakthroughs. When you acknowledge progress, you strengthen motivation, and motivation fuels consistency. A transformative skill in time mastery is the ability to anticipate your future self. Successful people design their routines based on what their future self will need. They prepare meals, organize workspaces, structure their schedules, and make decisions that reduce the burden on their future self. When you take actions today that support tomorrow, you create a powerful cycle of self-trust. Your future self becomes stronger, more prepared, and more capable because your past self set the foundation. Your time expands when you practice simplification. Many individuals complicate tasks with unnecessary steps, excessive detail, or overthinking. Successful people simplify everything. They simplify their goals, their workflow, their decision-making, and their routines. They remove complexity wherever possible because complexity creates friction and friction wastes. Time simplicity is not about cutting corners. It is about clarifying what matters and removing what does not. Another essential practice is learning to transition gracefully between tasks. Transitions are moments where productivity is often lost. People switch tasks abruptly or carry the stress of one activity into the next. Successful individuals pause between tasks. They release the previous activity, they reset mentally, and then enter the next task with clarity. This simple habit reduces mental residue, preserves focus, and allows the mind to work cleanly, rather than carrying cognitive clutter from one moment to another. The mastery of rest is one of the most profound time management skills. Rest is often seen as unproductive, but successful people know that rest is a strategic tool. When you rest intentionally, you return to work with sharper focus, more creativity, and greater resilience. Rest is not an interruption of productivity. It is a pillar of it. When you honor rest, your long-term performance improves dramatically, and you prevent burnout before it begins. Your relationship with time strengthens when you create life routines instead of relying on spontaneous motivation. Routines transform actions into habits, and habits transform results into inevitability. Successful individuals rely on routines for waking, sleeping, planning, learning, exercising, and deep work routines. Create consistency. Consistency creates progress, and progress builds a successful life that feels stable and intentional. Time mastery also requires learning to work ahead. Being ahead of schedule is one of the most powerful ways to reduce stress and increase freedom. When you complete tasks early, you create space, flexibility, and mental ease. Many people fall behind because they wait until the last moment, which creates pressure and reduces performance. Successful individuals begin early, they stay ahead, they anticipate deadlines, and they avoid the anxiety of last-minute urgency. Working ahead opens space for creativity and opportunity. Your productivity increases when you practice task sequencing. Sequencing is the art of arranging tasks in an order that makes sense for your energy, your environment, and your focus. Successful people do not scatter tasks randomly throughout the day. They group tasks logically, they follow natural flows, they move from high energy to low energy tasks, and they design their day in a way that feels smooth and efficient. When tasks flow logically, your mind stays aligned and your performance remains stable. Time mastery also involves developing a strong internal compass. Successful individuals listen to intuition. They pay attention to what tasks feel aligned, what commitments drain them, what opportunities resonate, and what distractions pull them off course. By honoring their internal compass, they make faster decisions and avoid wasting time on paths that do not serve their long-term vision. Intuition becomes sharper with practice, and becomes one of the most valuable tools for navigating time. Your ability to create mental spaciousness is another overlooked time mastery skill. Spaciousness is the feeling of having breathing room between tasks. Breathing room in your schedule, breathing room in your thoughts, and breathing room in your responsibilities. Successful people create this spaciousness by not overloading their calendar, by protecting buffer time, and by designing systems that prevent unnecessary pressure. When you create mental space, creativity rises, stress decreases, and your relationship with time becomes healthier and more sustainable. Another key insight is that your calendar reflects your values. People say they value health, relationships, learning, or creativity, yet their calendar shows none of these. Successful individuals align their calendar with their values. They schedule what matters. They protect time for growth, connection, recovery, and purpose. When your calendar matches your values, your life expands in the direction of your deepest priorities. Your mastery of time becomes stronger when you learn to reduce emotional clutter, because emotional clutter creates internal noise that slows decision-making, clouds judgment, and drains energy. Successful people cultivate emotional clarity. They process frustrations instead of storing them. They resolve conflicts instead of avoiding them. They set boundaries instead of tolerating constant stress. When your emotional world becomes cleaner, your time becomes more effective, because you are no longer fighting unseen tension while trying to move forward. One of the most valuable principles is learning how to create momentum at the start of the day. Successful individuals begin with a small, intentional win, something simple, achievable, and purposeful. This early victory sends a signal to the brain that the day is already moving in the right direction. It activates motivation and makes it easier to tackle larger tasks. The first win of the day becomes an anchor that aligns your mind, your focus, and your energy with productive momentum. You elevate your time further by embracing the mindset of long-term thinking. Many people live in short cycles. They make decisions based on immediate comfort or short-term gratification. Successful people zoom out and think in years, not minutes. They ask, how will this action impact my future? How will this habit shape my life? How will these choices design the person I am becoming long-term? Thinking removes impulsive decisions and replaces them with intentional ones. Your time becomes more valuable when you view it through the lens of legacy. Another essential concept is learning the difference between convenience and priority. Convenience is what is easy. Priority is what is essential. Successful people choose priority even when it is less convenient. They choose to learn instead of scroll, to plan instead of react, to focus instead of drift. These choices build strength of character and discipline of mind. Your life grows in the direction of the habits you choose consistently, especially when they are not convenient. Time mastery also requires learning how to build and protect mental boundaries. Your mind cannot operate at its highest level when constantly invaded by demands, notifications, or noise. Successful individuals create internal boundaries. They decide when they are available and when they are not. They decide what deserves their attention and what does not. They decide what enters their mental space and what is firmly kept out. Boundaries protect your clarity, and clarity protects your time. Another powerful element is the practice of intentional reflection. Reflection is how you learn from your experiences and convert days into wisdom. Successful people reflect weekly, monthly, and annually. They ask what is improving, what needs adjustment, what created progress, what created stress, and what needs to change. This kind of structured reflection acts as the steering mechanism of your life. Without reflection, you repeat and drift. With reflection, you adjust and evolve. Your relationship with time strengthens when you begin treating focus as a skill rather than a mood. Many people wait to feel focused before taking action. Successful people know that focus grows through training. It expands when you practice it daily. It sharpens when you protect it, and it strengthens when you discipline your mind to stay present. Focus is a practice state, and when you train your brain to sustain attention, you dramatically increase the value of your hours. Another foundational principle is learning how to create your future intentionally through small, consistent upgrades. Successful individuals upgrade systems, routines, tools, and habits not with dramatic reinventions, but with steady refinement. Each week they make small improvements that compound over time. Improvement becomes a lifestyle, and time becomes an ally, because progress happens automatically through intentional design rather than through bursts of effort. Your time becomes more powerful when you understand the importance of selective effort. Not all tasks require the same intensity. Some require creative energy. Some require emotional presence. Successful people match the right type of energy to the right type of task, and because they understand their own strengths, they allocate their efforts strategically rather than randomly. This alignment of energy to work increases efficiency and preserves resilience. Another key insight is mastering the art of resets. Resets are short, intentional moments where you pause, breathe, and recalibrate. Successful individuals use resets to break cycles of distraction, recover from stress, or reestablish focus after interruptions. Instead of allowing a moment of distraction to derail an entire hour, they reset and return to clarity. These small resets protect momentum and keep your mind operating at its highest level. Your time also becomes more productive when you build systems of accountability. Accountability is more than pressure. It is structure, it is clarity, it is expectation. Successful people use accountability not to punish themselves but to maintain alignment. They create external accountability with partners, mentors, or teams, and internal accountability with standards, promises, and personal rules. Accountability creates consistency, and consistency creates mastery. Time mastery deepens when you embrace the mindset of essentialism. Essentialism is the discipline of focusing on the few actions that create the greatest impact, rather than scattering attention across many tasks that offer little value. Successful individuals identify their vital few responsibilities and concentrate their time. Their essentialism produces clarity and prevents overload. It allows you to operate with purpose and intention instead of drowning in trivial effort. Another powerful principle is learning to separate planning from execution. Planning is the blueprint. Execution is the building. Successful people do not plan endlessly without acting, nor do they dive into action without clarity. They balance both. Planning gives direction. Execution gives momentum. When these two work together, your time becomes purposeful and your days build toward meaningful results. You strengthen your productivity further by embracing the concept of flexible rigidity. Flexible rigidity means holding a strong commitment to your priorities, while allowing room for adjustment when circumstances shift. Successful individuals remain anchored to their mission, but adaptable in their methods. This combination of structure and adaptability allows them to move through unexpected challenges without losing direction. Flexible rigidity creates resilience without chaos. Your time expands when you learn to reduce microdelays. Microdelays are small moments of hesitation that accumulate throughout the day, delaying responses, putting off small tasks, or waiting for the perfect moment. Successful people eliminate these delays by acting quickly on easy decisions and clearing small tasks before they grow into large responsibilities. Removing micro delays frees hours of mental bandwidth and reduces stress. Another essential insight is the importance of clear boundaries around deep work. Deep work thrives in an environment of protection and predictability. Successful individuals create deep work blocks where they eliminate distractions, silence communication channels, and immerse themselves entirely in the task. These protected blocks become the engine of their progress. The quality and quantity of deep work determine the success of long-term goals. Time mastery also requires learning to shift from emotional decisions to principle-based decisions. Emotions fluctuate principles. Endure successful people build their lives on principles, such as discipline, consistency, clarity, and long-term thinking. These principles guide decisions especially when motivation is low, or when emotions are turbulent. Principles create stability, and stable decisions produce consistent growth. Your ability to use time effectively strengthens when you master anticipation. Anticipation is the skill of predicting what needs to happen before it becomes urgent. Successful individuals anticipate deadlines, anticipate obstacles, anticipate opportunities, and anticipate the needs of their future self. Anticipation prevents crises and transforms reactive time into proactive time. Anticipation is the signature of a prepared and disciplined mind. Another important habit is the practice of morning alignment. Morning alignment is the deliberate act of starting your day with clarity, order, and calm. Successful people spend a few minutes reviewing their priorities, connecting with their purpose, and setting their intentions for the day. This moment of alignment prevents reactive spirals and establishes a strong internal foundation. Morning alignment is the anchor that grounds the entire day. Your mastery of time deepens when you learn to move through your day with intentional awareness, because awareness is the gateway to alignment. Without awareness, you operate on autopilot, repeating habits without questioning their value, reacting to demands without evaluating their importance, and allowing distractions to control your direction. Successful people cultivate awareness in every moment. They notice when their focus drifts, they notice when they move toward distraction. They notice the subtle emotional shifts that influence their choices. Awareness gives you the power to correct your trajectory before you drift too far off course. Time mastery also grows when you embrace the discipline of finishing strong. Many people start tasks with enthusiasm but lose energy before the final step. Successful individuals train themselves to complete what they begin because completion builds confidence, and unfinished tasks create mental burden. Finishing strong means giving full presence to the last stage of a task instead of rushing through it or abandoning it early. When you finish strong, you close loops cleanly, maintain momentum, and build a consistent record of follow-through. An essential principle is learning to differentiate between effort that moves you forward and effort that merely keeps you busy. Not all effort is equal. Some tasks create progress, others create the illusion of progress. Successful people evaluate their actions based on outcome rather than activity. They ask, what result did this work create? How did it move my goals forward? What impact did it generate? By measuring outcomes instead of effort, you use your time with greater intention and avoid wasting hours on actions that do not support your long-term direction. Your sense of time expands when you embrace the practice of strategic delays. Strategic delays are intentional pauses where you allow ideas to mature, decisions to settle, or timing to align. Successful individuals know that not everything requires immediate action. Sometimes the most powerful move is to wait. Wait for clarity. Wait for the right moment. Wait for the emotional state that produces the best decision. Strategic delay is not procrastination, it is precision. It allows you to act with timing instead of impulse. Another time mastery skill is the ability to practice cognitive distancing. Cognitive distancing is the art of stepping back mentally to view situations without emotional overwhelm. Successful individuals use this skill during challenging conversations, stressful deadlines, or moments of pressure. They observe the situation from a calm vantage point, which allows them to respond thoughtfully instead of react impulsively. This clarity saves time, prevents conflict, and leads to better decisions. Your productivity increases when you begin removing invisible obligations. These are commitments you never formally accepted but subconsciously carry, such as trying to please everyone, trying to respond instantly to every message, or trying to meet unrealistic expectations. Invisible obligations drain mental energy and steal time from what truly matters. Successful individuals release these silent pressures. They allow themselves to say no to unnecessary responsibility and yes to their priorities. Time mastery also involves applying the principle of enough. Enough is the point where additional effort no longer creates proportionate value. Many people exhaust themselves trying to make everything perfect, even when improvement has minimal impact. Successful individuals recognize when a task has reached the point of enough. They deliver results that meet the standard without chasing unnecessary refinement. Understanding enough prevents perfectionism from consuming your time and energy. Another essential habit is creating identity-based routines. Your behavior follows your identity. When you see yourself as a disciplined person, you act in disciplined ways. When you see yourself as a high performer, you behave like one. Successful individuals reinforce identity-based routines so their habits align naturally with who they believe they are. Identity shapes action, and action shapes time. When your identity supports your goals, productivity becomes an expression of who you are rather than what you do. Your time becomes more effective when you learn to apply intentional constraints. Constraints create clarity because they limit the number of choices available. To many choices slow decision-making and create mental friction. Successful people reduce options when designing routines, choosing tools, or creating systems. They choose one method and stick with it, reducing decision fatigue and increasing consistency. Intentional constraint is a form of mental optimization that preserves bandwidth for essential work. Time mastery also requires recognizing that productivity is not a race but a design. Successful individuals do not aim to do more. They aim to design their work in a way that makes results inevitable. They build systems that support their goals, routines that eliminate friction, and environments that encourage focused. Productivity is not speed. It is structure, not pressure. It is clarity, not exhaustion. It is intention. Productivity is the architecture of your future, built one decision at a time. Another foundational principle is learning how to create harmony between tasks. Harmony means arranging your responsibilities in a sequence that supports the natural flow of your mind. Some tasks require creativity, some require logic, some require communication. When you structure your day so tasks flow from one mental mode to the next, you reduce friction and increase efficiency. Successful people design this harmony intentionally, so their day feels smooth rather than fragmented. Your productivity rises when you eliminate hidden redundancies in your life. Redundancies are repeated actions that could be automated, delegated, or removed entirely, such as rewriting the same emails, attending unnecessary meetings, or manually performing tasks that software could handle. Successful individuals routinely examine their routines, identify redundancies, and streamline them. By doing so, they reclaim hours of lost time and increase the efficiency of their workflow. Time mastery also involves embracing the principle of anticipatory organization. Anticipatory organization means preparing for tasks before you begin them, organizing tools, gathering information, setting the environment, and clarifying the desired outcome. This pre-organization reduces hesitation, accelerates action, and improves the quality of the work. Successful people never rely on spontaneous motivation. They rely on structured preparation, because preparation creates professional results. Your performance improves dramatically when you strengthen your ability to switch into deep focus quickly. Many individuals need long warm-up periods before they can enter a state of concentration. Successful people develop triggers and rituals that signal the brain it is time to work, such as sitting in a specific place, reviewing a brief intention statement, or removing all distractions. These rituals reduce the time it takes to enter deep focus and allow you to access your highest level of performance more consistently. Another essential principle is learning the value of personal systems over personal memory. Memory is unreliable and mentally expensive. Systems are clear, consistent, and freeing. Successful individuals store information externally. They rely on calendars, task managers' notes, and structured workflows so their mind can focus on thinking instead of remembering. By offloading memory into systems, you reduce mental strain, strengthen clarity, and free cognitive resources for meaningful work. Your relationship with time transforms when you learn to work from clarity, not pressure. Pressure creates panic, clarity creates flow. Successful people start They're tasks with clear objectives, which reduces resistance and increases motivation. Clarity answers the question, why does this matter and why now? And when the mind understands purpose, it becomes easier to sustain focus and complete the work efficiently. Time mastery also requires learning the art of decision batching. Decision batching is the practice of handling similar decisions at one time to reduce mental fatigue. Successful individuals make grouped decisions about meals, weekly tasks, scheduling, financial planning, and communication. This reduces cognitive load, prevents constant interruptions, and preserves mental energy for work that requires creativity or depth. Another powerful habit is learning to protect your evenings. Just as mornings set the direction of your day, evenings set the recovery and restoration needed for tomorrow. Successful individuals avoid intense work late at night. They create gentle evening rituals to unwind, reflect, and disconnect. These rituals signal the mind to shift from productivity to restoration, which enhances sleep quality and prepares the mind for the next day. Protecting your evenings protects your future productivity. Your time expands when you learn to value silence. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is clarity. It allows the mind to breathe, process, and reset. Successful people embrace silence as a tool for thinking, planning, and creative problem solving. Silence strengthens intuition, sharpens awareness, and creates mental spaciousness that fuels your ability to make wise decisions. Silence is not a lack of activity. It is the foundation for intentional action. Your mastery of time strengthens when you learn to hold yourself to a standard of intentional excellence. Intentional excellence means doing your best work with clarity, purpose, and consistency instead of operating from pressure or perfectionism. It means bringing focus to the quality of your actions rather than rushing through tasks just to feel productive. Successful people choose intentional excellence because it transforms each moment into an opportunity for meaningful progress. When you commit to excellence, your time stops feeling scattered and starts feeling directed. Another essential principle is learning how to neutralize distractions before they arise. Many people try to fight distractions in the moment, but successful individuals prevent distractions through design. They create environments that support focus. They silence unnecessary notifications. They prepare their workspace before beginning. They remove temptations and minimize access to anything that could interrupt their flow. By eliminating distractions in advance, they create a smooth, uninterrupted pathway for their best work to unfold. Time becomes more powerful when you learn the skill of emotional calibration. Emotional calibration means understanding and adjusting your internal state, so it supports your goals. It is the ability to notice when you feel resistance, when you feel hesitation, or when your energy begins to drop, and then correct it with intention. Successful individuals use breathing techniques, physical movement, brief pauses, and short mental resets to calibrate their mindset. Emotional calibration allows you to show up as your highest self, even on challenging days. Time mastery also expands when you embrace the practice of simplified productivity. Simplified productivity is the art of reducing complexity so your work becomes lighter, clearer, and more sustainable. Many people complicate their routines with unnecessary steps, complicated tools, or excessively detailed plans. Successful people simplify. They use fewer tools with greater depth. They build streamlined workflows, and they focus only on actions that produce meaningful results. Simplification removes friction and makes consistency easier. Another vital concept is understanding your personal productivity. Rhythm. Productivity is not static, it rises and falls throughout the day. Successful individuals learn their natural rhythm, the times when their mind feels sharp, the times when their creativity expands, and the times when they need rest. They schedule demanding tasks during peak energy and lighter tasks during low energy. By working with their natural rhythm instead of against it, they accomplish more in less time with less stress. Another vital concept is understanding your personal productivity. Rhythm. Productivity is not static, it rises and falls throughout the day. Successful individuals learn their natural rhythm, the times when their mind feels sharp, the times when their creativity expands, and the times when they need rest. They schedule demanding tasks during peak energy and lighter tasks during low energy. By working with their natural rhythm instead of against it, they accomplish more in less time with less stress. Your time becomes more effective when you incorporate micro-mastery. Micromastery is the practice of mastering small essential skills that compound into significant progress, such as writing clearly, communicating confidently, organizing efficiently, or planning strategically. Successful individuals pursue micromastery because it strengthens their foundation. Each small skill you strengthen reduces future friction and increases long-term success. Time becomes an asset when your skills are sharp and reliable. Another principle of high performance is learning the power of deliberate slowdown. Deliberate slowdown is not laziness, it is strategic clarity. When you slow down intentionally, you give your mind space to think deeply, create insightfully, and solve problems accurately. Successful people intentionally slow their pace during planning, reflection, and decision-making, because rushing leads to mistakes that require even more time to repair. Deliberate slowdown increases long-term speed by reducing wasted effort. Your productivity expands when you understand the difference between action and alignment. Action is what you do. Alignment is why you do it. Many people take action without alignment, which leads to burnout and frustration. Successful individuals align their actions with their goals, values, and long-term vision. Alignment creates meaning. Meaning creates motivation. Motivation sustains discipline, and discipline shapes time. When your actions are aligned, your days feel purposeful and directed. Time mastery also requires the ability to shift from consumption to creation. Consumption includes reading, watching, listening, and gathering information. Creation includes producing, writing, building, and implementing. Successful people maintain a healthy balance, but they prioritize creation because creation moves life forward. Consumption without creation leads to stagnation. By shifting toward creation, you build momentum and transform your ideas into progress. Another essential principle is managing the invisible transitions between tasks. The moments between finishing one activity and beginning another are often wasted through hesitation or distraction. Successful individuals move through transitions with intention. They take a breath, review their next priority, and begin without delay. Mastering transitions prevents momentum loss and makes each hour more productive. Small transitions shape the flow of your entire day. Your time strengthens when you create a personal operating manual. A personal operating manual is a clear understanding of how you operate best: your ideal morning routine, your optimal work environment, your preferred planning methods, your most effective tools, and your peak hours. Successful individuals know themselves deeply, so they can design their days with precision. When you understand your own operating system, productivity becomes natural instead of forced. Time mastery also involves building resilience through recovery. Recovery is not optional, it is a performance tool. Successful people structure micro-recovery throughout their day through short breaks, mindful breathing, or brief moments of stillness, and macro-recovery through sleep, rest days, and intentional downtime. Recovery restores clarity, sharpens focus, and strengthens decision-making. Without recovery, productivity collapses. Under fatigue with recovery, productivity becomes sustainable and powerful. Another vital habit is the ongoing evaluation of commitments. Commitments shape your time because every yes becomes a time investment. Successful individuals review their commitments frequently. They ask, which commitments continue to support my goals, which commitments drain energy and create stress, which commitments no longer align with my current direction, and which commitments require delegation. This evaluation protects your time from becoming overloaded and ensures your energy remains aligned with what truly matters. Your time expands when you adopt a bias toward completion. Completion energy is the momentum that builds when tasks are finished rather than left open. Many people accumulate unfinished tasks that create heavy mental clutter. Successful people close loops quickly. They finish small tasks, immediately finish large tasks in phases, and finish daily tasks before ending their day. Completion energy creates psychological relief and frees mental space for meaningful work. Time mastery also deepens with the practice of reflective improvement. Reflective improvement is a cycle where you analyze your actions, identify friction, and design solutions. Successful individuals examine their workflow and ask, what slowed me down? What distracted me? What can be simplified? What system can I improve? This cycle of refinement ensures that every week becomes smoother, sharper, and more productive. Refinement is how good systems evolve into great ones. Another powerful principle is learning how to build your environment for success. Environment shapes behavior more than willpower. Environments filled with distraction, encourage drifting environments designed for focus, encourage disciplined, successful individuals intentionally design environments for each mode of their life, such as a clean workspace for deep work, a quiet space for reflection, and a digital environment free from unnecessary alerts. Environment engineering removes friction and makes success the natural default. Your time becomes more valuable when you shift the question from how do I get more done to how do I make what I do matter more. This shift elevates every action you take. It discourages busy work, encourages intentionality, and aligns your energy toward work that carries long-term meaning. Successful people measure success, not just by quantity of output, but by quality of impact. Impact is what transforms time into legacy. Time mastery also strengthens when you practice preventative planning. Preventative planning means anticipating problems before they happen, identifying potential obstacles in advance, and developing strategies to overcome them successfully. Individuals think 3 steps ahead. They foresee delays, identify risks, and prepare alternative routes. Preventative planning reduces stress, increases confidence, and keeps projects moving forward without disruption. Planning ahead preserves both time and peace of mind. Another essential concept is learning how to use mental priming. Mental priming is the practice of preparing your mind for the task ahead by reviewing your goal, visualizing completion, or recalling your purpose. Successful people use mental priming to accelerate focus and enhance performance. Priming signals the brain to shift into a productive state and reduces the friction of starting tasks. By priming your mind, you enter your work with clarity and intention. Your time becomes more productive when you incorporate purposeful pauses. Purposeful pauses are short, intentional breaks where you step away from your work to breathe, stretch, or reset. These pauses are not distractions. They are investments in clarity. Purposeful pauses prevent mental fatigue and restore your ability to think clearly. High performers do not grind endlessly. They alternate between intensity and recovery because balance creates sustainable excellence. Your mastery of time deepens when you learn to create systems that outlast motivation, because motivation rises and falls, but systems remain steady. Many people depend on bursts of inspiration to move forward, but successful individuals build frameworks that continue working even when their energy is low. Systems turn discipline into habit and habit into automatic progress. When you design your life around systems, you eliminate guesswork, reduce hesitation, and create a clear pathway for consistent achievement. Another essential principle is the art of beginning before you feel ready. Readiness often becomes a barrier that stops forward motion, because the mind uses preparation as a disguise for fear. Successful people begin, even when conditions are imperfect, even when they feel uncertain, even when the path ahead is incomplete. They understand that readiness grows through action and clarity emerges through movement. By starting early, they bypass procrastination and gain momentum that others never experience. Your relationship with time improves when you strengthen the skill of cognitive discipline. Cognitive discipline is the ability to keep your mind anchored on what matters despite distractions, emotions, or external pressure. Successful individuals train their inner dialogue. They redirect negative thoughts, they dissolve excuses, they correct drifting attention, they discipline the mind so it can support their goals rather than sabotage them. Cognitive discipline is the foundation of mental strength, and mental strength is the foundation of time mastery. Time becomes more abundant when you simplify your decisions. Decision overload drains energy, increases stress, and slows progress. Successful people automate repeated decisions such as what to wear, what to eat, when to exercise, and how to structure. Their morning's automation frees the mind for higher-level thinking and reduces mental friction. Simplicity is a strategic advantage because a simplified life creates space for deep work, creativity, and long-term focus. Your productivity expands when you approach your goals with engineer thinking. Engineer thinking means designing your goals backward, beginning with the final outcome and identifying the specific steps, tools, and processes required to get there. Successful individuals break down complexity into clarity. They transform large ambitions into manageable sequences. Engineer thinking removes overwhelm and replaces it with structure, which accelerates progress and strengthens confidence. Time mastery also requires developing emotional neutrality. Emotional neutrality is not suppressing emotions, but preventing them from controlling your choices. Successful people remain calm during pressure, challenges, criticism, and unexpected setbacks. They respond from intention rather than reactivity. Emotional neutrality allows clear thinking in moments when others panic. This neutrality saves time, prevents mistakes, and ensures decisions remain aligned with long-term goals. Your time becomes more effective when you learn to differentiate between urgent tasks and important. Tasks' urgency demands your attention. Importance deserves your attention. Many people live in a state of urgency, constantly responding to notifications, requests, and superficial demands. Successful people prioritize importance. They give their best hours to their highest value work and treat urgency with controlled boundaries. This distinction protects your time from being consumed by low-value activities. Another powerful concept is adopting a rhythm of intentional resets throughout your day. Resets allow you to release tension, refocus your mind, and return to clarity with greater strength. Successful individuals use resets between meetings, between tasks, and during moments of mental fatigue. A reset can be a breath, a stretch, a moment of reflection, or a brief step away from the workspace. Resets preserve mental clarity and extend your capacity for deep work. Your time expands when you build the habit of strategic yes and disciplined no. Strategic yes means accepting commitments that align with your goals, values, and direction. Disciplined no means protecting your time from obligations that do not serve your growth. Successful people are not afraid to say no because they understand that every yes is a time investment. Their boundaries are clear, strong, and unapologetic. Disciplined no protects your energy, and strategic yes accelerates your progress. Time mastery also grows when you learn to see challenges as training rather than obstacles. Many people view challenges as disruptions, but successful individuals use challenges as opportunities to strengthen resilience, creativity, and problem-solving skills. Each challenge becomes training for a stronger version of yourself, and the time you invest in overcoming it produces long-term capability. Challenges sculpt your character, and character shapes the quality of your future time. Another essential principle is maintaining intentional clarity around your goals. Clarity gives the mind a target to pursue. When your goals are vague, your actions become scattered. Successful people define their goals with precision. They know exactly what they are moving toward and why it matters. This clarity simplifies decision-making, strengthens focus, and provides direction when motivation weakens. When your goals are clear, your time gains purpose. Your productivity increases when you practice reduction. Reduction means removing tasks, responsibilities, and habits that no longer serve your future. Many people accumulate excessive responsibilities that drain time and energy. Successful individuals identify what is essential and eliminate everything that distracts from it. Reduction is not loss, it is refinement. By removing what slows you down, you create space for what moves you forward. Time mastery also requires developing the ability to recover quickly from setbacks. Setbacks are inevitable, but how quickly you rise determines your long-term success. Successful people do not dwell on mistakes. They analyze them, extract lessons, recalibrate, and continue moving forward. Rapid recovery protects your momentum and prevents minor setbacks from becoming major delays. Another important element is designing your workflow around energy cycles. Energy cycles are the natural fluctuations of strength, focus, creativity, and stamina. Successful individuals schedule intense work during peak energy and reserve lighter tasks for low energy periods. By aligning work with energy, you accomplish more with less effort and avoid burnout. Matching energy with responsibility is a form of strategic self-awareness that improves long-term performance. Your time expands when you practice intentional visibility. Intentional visibility means being present where it matters and invisible where it does not. Successful people show up fully for high-value activities and remain completely unavailable for low-value distractions. They do not allow their attention to be diluted by unnecessary noise. They reserve their presence for moments that contribute to their progress. Intentional visibility protects focus and strengthens direction. Time mastery also means taking control of the narratives you tell yourself. The mind creates stories that shape behavior. Stories about capability, worth, time, and potential. Successful individuals rewrite unhelpful stories. They challenge beliefs that limit progress and replace them with empowering narratives. Self-talk influences performance, and performance influences how you use time. When your mind supports you, your time becomes a tool for creation rather than a struggle for survival. Another powerful principle is understanding the compound effect of microorganization. Microorganization is the practice of keeping essential items, tasks, and information in consistent places. Small acts of organization reduce friction, save time, and increase mental clarity. Successful people do not waste minutes searching for documents, tools, or information. Their environment supports speed and their systems support clarity. Microorganization compounds into hours of saved time over weeks and months. Your productivity grows when you embrace adaptive focus. Adaptive focus is the ability to shift your attention with intention, rather than distraction. Successful people do not allow their focus to be pulled away. They redirect it with purpose. They decide when to switch tasks, how long to stay engaged, and when to protect their concentration. Adaptive focus allows flexibility without chaos and structure without rigidity. Time mastery also requires eliminating passive waiting. Passive waiting occurs when you delay action because you are waiting for permission, approval, or ideal conditions. Successful individuals convert passive waiting into active preparation. If they must wait, they learn, practice, plan, or refine. They turn waiting into advantage. Instead of delay, by eliminating passive waiting, they maintain momentum, even during periods of external pause. Another essential principle is practicing intentional pacing. Pacing is the rhythm of your work and the flow of your day. Successful individuals avoid extremes of rushing or dragging. They establish a steady pace that aligns with their goals and energy. Pacing preserves endurance, prevents burnout, and creates consistency over long periods. Intentional pacing allows you to move through time with calm strength and persistent progress. Your time becomes more purposeful when you begin treating self-management as a professional skill. Self-management includes regulating emotions, organizing tasks, managing boundaries, maintaining discipline, and aligning actions with priorities. Successful individuals take self-management seriously because it influences every other part of their life. When you master yourself, you master your time. Your mastery of time strengthens when you learn to create a powerful internal compass that guides your decisions from the inside rather than being shaped by external noise. Many people drift because they follow pressure, expectations, or the demands of others instead of listening to their deeper directions. Successful individuals cultivate a strong internal compass built on values, priorities, and long-term vision. This compass keeps them aligned even when the world tries to pull them in 100 different directions. When your direction is internal, your time becomes protected from external chaos. Time mastery also expands when you develop the ability to see work as a series of intentional cycles. Each cycle includes planning, execution, reflection, and refinement. Many people skip planning, rush execution, avoid reflection, and never refine. This creates repetitive mistakes and inconsistent progress. Successful individuals move through each cycle with patience and precision. They plan clearly, execute with focus, reflect honestly, and refine strategically. Each cycle becomes more effective than the last, and over time this creates massive performance gains. Your productivity deepens when you learn the power of a friction-free start. A friction-free start is the act of beginning your work without hesitation, delay, or emotional resistance. Successful people design their environment and routines, so starting becomes effortless. They place tools within reach, prepare materials the night before, and minimize barriers that trigger procrastination. When starting becomes smooth, the rest of the task unfolds, naturally. Reducing friction at the beginning creates momentum that carries you forward. Another essential principle is understanding that overwhelm is not caused by the amount of work, but by the lack of clarity. Overwhelm dissolves when clarity is restored. Successful individuals break tasks into digestible steps, clarify outcomes, and identify the most important action needed right now. Clarity shrinks what feels impossible into something manageable and achievable. When you reduce tasks into clear steps, your mind relaxes, your focus strengthens, and your time becomes easier to command. Your time becomes more valuable when you shift from intention-based living to execution-based living. Intention is powerful, but execution is transformative. Many people collect intentions but never bring them into action. Successful people close the gap between what they plan and What they do, by cultivating consistency, they treat execution as a responsibility, they honor their commitments, and they take action. Daily, even in small ways, execution turns possibility into progress, and progress turns time into achievement. Time mastery also grows when you learn to evaluate the emotional cost of your tasks. Every task has not only a time requirement, but an emotional requirement. Some tasks create stress, some create momentum, some drain your energy, and some fuel it. Successful individuals consider emotional cost. When planning their day, they place lighter tasks after heavier ones. Schedule difficult tasks during peak strength and create buffers between emotionally demanding activities. Managing emotional cost preserves energy and prevents burnout. Your productivity expands when you become fluent in the language of micro-priorities. Micro-priorities are the small but important actions that move your day forward. They determine whether your day stays aligned or drifts into distraction. Successful individuals identify micro-priorities each morning and revisit them throughout the day. These small anchors guide focus, protect momentum, and ensure that the day remains purposeful. When you manage micro-priorities, your macro goals stay on track. Another powerful concept is learning to treat time as an investment portfolio. Each action is an investment, and each investment has a return. Successful people analyze their time the same way investors analyze assets. They ask what yields the greatest results, what produces long-term benefit, what drains value, and what needs adjustment. This investment mindset elevates decision-making because time is no longer spent randomly. It is allocated with precision toward meaningful growth. Your time becomes more productive when you adopt the mindset of iterative progress. Iterative progress means improving through small, consistent adjustments rather than dramatic changes. Successful individuals understand that progress is built through repetition, reflection, and refinement. Each iteration sharpens skill, deepens understanding, and strengthens systems. Iterative progress, compounding over weeks and months, produces exceptional results while also reducing overwhelm and increasing sustainability. Time mastery also requires developing dual awareness. Dual awareness is the ability to remain aware of the present moment while also maintaining awareness of your larger goals. Successful individuals stay grounded in what they are doing now while remembering why they are doing it. This dual awareness prevents distractions because it ties each action to a bigger purpose. When you're present and future stay connected, your time develops direction, depth, and meaning. Your productivity accelerates when you master emotional decoupling. Emotional decoupling is the skill of separating your feelings from your responsibilities. Many people delay tasks because they do not feel motivated or emotionally ready. Successful people act independently of emotion. They understand that feelings fluctuate but responsibilities remain stable. Emotional decoupling allows you to maintain consistency, remain clear under pressure, and honor commitments even when motivation dips. Time mastery also strengthens when you treat your calendar as a contract, not a suggestion. Many people view their schedule as optional, which leads to missed commitments and reactive days. Successful individuals treat their calendar with respect. They honor time blocks for deep work, rest planning, and personal commitments. They protect their schedule with discipline because they understand that a respected calendar becomes a predictable system. Predictable systems eliminate chaos, and chaos steals time. Your time becomes more meaningful when you align your responsibilities with your identity. Your identity is the story you believe about yourself, and that story shapes your behavior. Successful people choose identities that empower their goals. They say, I am someone who finishes what I start. I am someone who protects my time. I am someone who honors my commitments. When your identity aligns with your actions, discipline becomes natural instead of forced. Time mastery grows from the inside outward. Another powerful principle is the practice of deliberate reduction. Deliberate reduction is the act of consistently examining your life for tasks, habits, and commitments that no longer serve your goals. Many people accumulate responsibilities without questioning them. Successful individuals intentionally prune their lives. They remove outdated obligations, simplify systems, reduce complexity, and eliminate unnecessary noise. Deliberate reduction is not about doing less, it is about doing more of what matters most. Your productivity grows when you build systems that support deep immersion. Immersion is the state where your mind becomes completely absorbed in your work without distraction or resistance. Successful people reach immersion By eliminating interruptions, repairing their environment, removing digital noise, and entering work with a clear purpose, immersion produces high quality results in less time and transforms hours of scattered effort into focused achievement. Time mastery also requires learning the rhythm of execution, and evaluation. Execution is necessary for progress, but evaluation is necessary for wisdom. Many people act without reflection, which leads to repeated mistakes. Successful individuals pause to review their weak, identify patterns, adjust strategies, and strengthen systems. Evaluation transforms experience into insight, and insight into better decisions. When you balance execution with evaluation, your time becomes continually optimized. Your relationship with time becomes more powerful when you learn to create an atmosphere of momentum. Momentum is not accidental. It is manufactured through consistency, clarity, and the removal of unnecessary friction. Successful individuals maintain momentum by completing daily wins, starting tasks immediately, reducing micro delays, and keeping their systems simple. Momentum creates emotional energy. Emotional energy creates motivation, and motivation accelerates progress. Momentum makes time feel like it is working with you rather than against you. Time mastery also grows through the practice of purposeful solitude. Purposeful solitude is the act of spending intentional time alone for reflection, creativity, and clarity. Successful people use solitude to refine goals, plan long-term strategies, and connect with themselves. Without external noise, solitude strengthens focus, deepens understanding, and reveals insights that cannot surface in the midst of constant activity. When you embrace purposeful solitude, you gain access to your highest thinking. Another essential principle is building a strong mental checkpoint system. Mental checkpoints are moments throughout the day where you pause briefly to assess your alignments. Successful individuals use checkpoints to ask, am I on track? Am I drifting? What matters most right now? These quick mental scans bring the mind back into focus and prevent entire hours from being lost to distraction. Mental checkpoints protect your time from unconscious drift and ensure that your day remains intentional. Your productivity expands when you understand the power of micro-courage. Micro-courage is the ability to take small, brave actions that move you forward, such as starting a difficult task, speaking up in a meeting, saying no to misaligned commitments, or admitting when something needs improvements. Successful people practice micro-courage daily. These small acts strengthen discipline, build confidence, and accelerate growth. Micro-courage compounds into major transformation over time. Time mastery also requires embracing a philosophy of continuous realignment. Realignment means adjusting your path as your goals evolve, your circumstances change, and your understanding deepens. Successful individuals realign their routines, systems, and priorities regularly, so they remain relevant and effective. Without realignment, your systems become outdated, and outdated systems create unnecessary friction. Continuous realignment keeps your time aligned with your growth. Another powerful concept is using intention anchors. Intention anchors are short phrases that guide your mindset and behavior throughout the day, such as stay focused, stay steady, finish strong, or protect your time. Successful individuals use intention anchors to maintain clarity during complex tasks or stressful moments. Anchors remind them mind of its direction and keep it centered. Intention anchors transform drifting thoughts into focused action. Your mastery of time increases when you strengthen your ability to shift between macro and micro vision. Macro vision is your long-term strategy. Micro vision is your next immediate action. Successful people move fluidly between these two perspectives. They zoom out to ensure their direction is aligned, then zoom in to take precise, purposeful steps. This dual vision makes big goals feel achievable and prevents you from getting lost in small details that do not matter. Time mastery also becomes easier when you embrace the discipline of single-task execution. Multitasking scatters focus, reduces quality, and consumes energy. Successful individuals concentrate on one task at a time. They give full presence to the moment, complete tasks fully, and then transition with intention. Single-task execution enhances clarity, increases efficiency, and produces better outcomes in less time. Your mastery of time expands when you learn to work from your highest frequency rather than your lowest impulse. Your highest frequency is the mindset where you feel grounded, focused, intentional, and clear, while your lowest impulse is the urge to avoid discomfort, chase distraction, or escape responsibility. Successful individuals design their day so they spend more time in their high frequency state and less time in emotional reactivity. They achieve this by protecting their mornings, limiting digital noise, practicing mental resets, and maintaining clear priorities. When you operate from your highest frequency, your time becomes elevated and your work becomes purposeful. Another powerful principle is embracing the practice of proactive clarity. Proactive clarity is the habit of defining exactly what success looks like before you begin a task. Many people start working with vague intentions, which leads to confusion, wasted time, and inconsistent results. Successful individuals never begin until they know the outcome, the direction, and the reason behind their action. Proactive clarity removes uncertainty, aligns energy, and accelerates progress. When clarity leads the way, productivity follows naturally. Your time becomes more effective when you understand the subtle difference between planning and preparing. Planning outlines what needs to be done, but preparing removes obstacles that might slow you down. Successful individuals prepare by organizing tools, organizing their workspace, reviewing information, and ensuring that their environment supports the work ahead. Preparation reduces friction, increases efficiency, and makes execution smoother and more predictable. Preparation is the hidden engine behind high performance and strong time mastery. Time mastery also requires becoming comfortable with structured discipline, is often misunderstood as restriction, but successful individuals see discipline as liberation because it frees them from indecision, distraction. An inconsistency. Discipline creates structure, and structure creates freedom. When your actions follow intentional patterns, your mind becomes calmer, your focus becomes stronger, and your progress becomes consistent, structured. Discipline removes chaos and creates clarity. Your productivity deepens when you develop the skill of emotional objectivity. Emotional objectivity means observing your feelings without letting them control your actions. Many people allow emotions like fear, boredom, doubt, or impatience to shape their behavior, but successful individuals separate emotion from execution. They complete tasks even when they feel resistance. They honor their commitments even when motivation fades, and they maintain direction even when emotions fluctuate. Emotional objectivity allows stability in moments where others become reactive or avoidant. Another essential principle is creating a rhythm of daily alignment. Daily alignment is the practice of realigning your actions with your priorities at multiple points throughout the day. Successful people check in with themselves during transitions, after breaks, and before starting new tasks. Alignment prevents drifting and restores clarity. It brings your attention back to what matters and keeps your energy moving in the right direction. Daily alignment transforms potential chaos into steady, controlled progress. Your time becomes more valuable when you turn your attention into a protected resource. Many people allow their attention to be pulled in every direction by messages, notifications, conversations, and random impulses. Successful individuals guard their attention fiercely. They decide what gets access to their mind and what does not. They create boundaries around focus and treat distraction as an unacceptable thief. Attention is the most valuable currency in the modern world, and those who control it possess a powerful advantage. Time mastery also strengthens when you stop negotiating with your commitments. Many people waste time debating whether they should begin a task, continue a project, or finish something that matters. Successful individuals do not negotiate with themselves. They follow through because they made a decision in a moment of clarity, and they honor that decision even when their mood changes. Removing internal negotiation eliminates hesitation and creates effortless consistency. Your commitments become solid and your time becomes dependable. Your productivity expands when you understand the law of progressive sequencing. Progressive sequencing is the practice of organizing tasks in a logical flow, so each action supports the next. Successful people sequence their work intentionally, small tasks to warm up deep work. During high-energy creative tasks, when the mind is open, collaborative tasks, during social energy and administrative tasks. During low-focus hours, sequencing aligns your brain with your work and makes your day feel natural instead of forced. When your tasks are in the right sequence, your performance rises effortlessly. Another powerful concept is the discipline of purposeful redirection. Purposeful redirection means choosing to redirect your focus immediately. Whenever you catch yourself drifting instead of indulging the distraction, successful individuals develop the habit of noticing their attention slipping without judgment and returning to the task with calm determination. This practice strengthens concentration, reduces wasted time, and builds focus endurance. Purposeful redirection transforms distraction from a derailment into a moment of clarity. Your mastery of time increases when you begin to measure your life not by how busy you are, but by how effectively your actions move you forward. Busyness creates the illusion of progress, but effectiveness creates real progress. Many people wear busyness like a badge of honor, but successful individuals measure only results. They ask, what moved the needle? What created momentum? What brought me closer to my goals? Effectiveness eliminates unnecessary effort and keeps your time aligned with your future. Time mastery also requires the courage to simplify your goals. Many people overwhelm themselves by chasing too many targets at once, but successful individuals choose a few meaningful goals and pursue them with intensity, focus, and discipline. Simplicity creates traction, and traction accelerates achievement. When your goals are simplified, your mind becomes clearer, your energy becomes more concentrated, and your time becomes more impactful. Your productivity grows when you understand the importance of emotional endurance. Emotional endurance is the ability to stay committed to long-term work without losing motivation or collapsing under stress. Successful individuals build emotional endurance by practicing patience, managing expectations, maintaining perspective, and celebrating progress even when it is small. Emotional endurance keeps you moving forward during long cycles where results are not immediately visible. It is one of the greatest strengths of high achievers because it transforms consistency into momentum. Another essential principle is recognizing the power of micro-recovery. Micro-recovery is the art of renewing your mind in small, intentional ways throughout the day instead of waiting until you are exhausted. Successful individuals take short breaks to breathe, stretch, reset, or reconnect with their intention. These small moments recalibrate the nervous system, restore focus, and prevent burnout. Micro-recovery keeps your mind steady and your energy sustainable even during demanding schedules. Your mastery of time expands when you adopt a philosophy of continuous light improvement. Continuous light improvement means making small adjustments daily instead of waiting for perfect conditions to make major changes. Successful individuals upgrade their systems one detail at a time, refine their routines gradually, and improve their environments subtly over weeks and months. These small improvements compound into significant transformation while feeling manageable and sustainable. Continuous light improvement keeps progress steady without overwhelming the mind. Time mastery also thrives in environments of reduced cognitive friction. Cognitive friction occurs when your mind encounters confusion, clutter, or unnecessary complexity. Successful people eliminate cognitive friction by keeping their workspace clean, simplifying tools, organizing digital spaces, and creating clear workflows. Less mental friction means easier transitions, smoother execution, and quicker decision-making. Reducing cognitive friction is one of the fastest ways to make your time feel lighter and more productive. Your productivity deepens when you begin every task with a clear mental entry point. A mental entry point is the exact action you will take to begin. Many people struggle to start because the beginning feels vague. Successful individuals define their first action before they begin, such as open the document, write the title, gather the tools, or review the instructions. Having a mental entry point removes uncertainty and reduces internal resistance, making it easier to start and maintain flow. Time mastery also grows when you practice emotional detachment from outcomes. Emotional detachment does not mean ignoring results, but maintaining stability regardless of results. Successful individuals stay steady when outcomes fluctuate. They adjust without frustration, reflect without self-judgment, and maintain focus without emotional turbulence. Emotional detachment protects your time from being consumed by disappointment, stress, or overthinking, and allows you to continue moving forward with clarity and strength. Your time becomes more powerful when you acknowledge that your habits shape your future more than your intentions. Intentions create direction, but habits create destiny. Successful people build habits that align with their goals, so progress becomes automatic. Rather than effortful, they design daily routines that support focused learning, growth, and consistency. Habits are the foundation of time mastery because they transform long-term ambition into daily action. Time mastery also requires letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism creates paralysis, delay, and fear, which wastes valuable time. Successful individuals choose progress over perfection, clarity over fear, consistency over hesitation. They understand that perfect conditions never arrive and perfect results rarely exist. Progress is the real measurement of growth, and progress is built through consistent, imperfect action. Another powerful principle is the discipline of mental preparedness. Mental preparedness is the act of preparing your mind to handle challenges before they arise. Successful people visualize obstacles, rehearse solutions, anticipate difficulties, and build inner resilience ahead of time. Mental preparedness creates calm strength during stressful situations and prevents time from being lost to panic, confusion, or emotional overwhelm. When the mind is prepared, challenges become manageable instead of disruptive. Finally, your mastery of time is reflected not just in what you accomplish, but in the life you create. Intentional time management transforms days into achievements and hours into legacy. It allows you to move toward your goals with clarity, focus, and purpose. It frees your mind from distraction, stress, and unnecessary decision fatigue. It creates space for creativity, growth, and fulfillment, and it empowers you to live each day as a deliberate investment in your future. As you carry these principles forward, remember that mastery is a journey, not a destination. Your consistent practice of focus, prioritization, reflection, boundary setting, and intentional action compounds over time, creating freedom, clarity, and success. Subscribe for more.